Welcome to BW Businessworld. Today we are here at Retail Leadership Summit 2020. We have with me Mr. B. Thiagarajan, Managing Director, Blue Star. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So good to listen to you. When we talk about the success of this whole ecosystem, the retail industry, and the contribution towards 5 trillion economy, what are some of the drivers in your opinion, and also what are some of the trends you have seen in terms of the change and transformation in the industry?
Thank you for talking to me. First of all, congratulations on the occasion of launching BW Retail World in today. All the best to Businessworld Group. The important trend which I haven't seen in my 43 years of career is the optimism that is prevailing across the country. Despite all the hardships that we may go through, and on one end, the corporate world is worried about the inflation, global slowdown, supply chain disruption, so on and so forth. But you walk into the streets, whether it is a tier 3, 4, 5 town or big cities, airports, there is great deal of optimism. And that is heartening. I think that is the driver for consumerism, and that is going to benefit the retail industry.
I agree.
The next thing is that we are adding a fresh set of consumers every year into the whole ecosystem. Still, we have a long way to go, given that rural India is still not participating in retail in a big way, but the trend seems to be good. Like even for air conditioners, 65% of the sales are coming from tier 3, 4, 5 towns. We are beginning to see certain products like ice cream consumption growing, therefore commercial refrigeration products are growing. That's the window to me that it is happening. So first trend is optimism. Second is more consumers are coming in, but still a long way to go. The third is that multiple formats of retail, kirana shops to modern retail, power retailers, and e-commerce all prevailing. And then I am a firm believer that India's unique ONDC platform is going to change the way how the retail world is going to be.
I think so. Post-pandemic, a new scenario has emerged. Now the people want to live their life much better. They want to expand something. They want to have some better experiences. And I think so the retail is the solution for this. Whenever as Signature Approval, we are into affordable housing and the mid-income housing, fulfilling the needs of the people and living and doing a product-like thing where they can live their life completely. Whenever we are designing the product in our segment, we are providing them the retail over there itself in their society, so that they need not to move anywhere else to experience the complete fun, food and fashion and their need to and getting their good experience. We are providing them and then it's there in their vicinity itself. Whenever, so that they need not to move. Once they come into their society, they just live over there, enjoy it, have food, have fashion, have all their needs done. I think so this is the future where we are looking for.
So I think most parts of our history, retail has been from the unbranded sector, and in last few years, especially post the pandemic, we've seen a shift of people wanting to move to brands, especially with social media playing such a huge role that people are consuming so much content on Facebook, Instagram, that people are now more aware, more informed, starting from metro cities, going up to like tier 2, tier 3 cities as well, where people have aspirations to buy brands. And that's actually what has led to the retail boom. That's why so many people across the world are now investing so much in our country to scale up the retail landscape of our country. And people are now look at brands as an aspiration, especially from the tier 2, tier 3 cities, and that's what actually that's one of the major reasons of the retail boom right now.
I did mention in my talk as well, I think that term of revenge buying, which a lot of retail specialists were talking about, a lot of industry experts were talking about. That was something that we did experience firsthand immediately after COVID. And I'm happy to say that that has all died down, and it is now completely on an exponential growth model, especially as far as sales are concerned. Even as far as buying patterns are concerned, everybody wants a little bit of customization, a little bit of personalization, and that is something that I personally see the future in the next 2 to 3 years as well. Brands that can adapt with that customization protocol or that policy or that readiness are brands that are going to always have the upper hand. Because in a sea of people, everybody wants to stand out unique. Everybody wants that mera wala pink color. So that personalization is something that I see as a trend coming up very big.
I think one key takeaway from today's talk is content is what's going to drive industry or in terms of personalization. So that itself kind of breaks up into different verticals, right? From short videos, gamings, and blockchain is just an underlying infrastructure that kind of drive it forward. As a short video platform, I think it was kind of evident in terms of how people want specific content for them. That is anyway like a no-brainer for people to approach. Outside of that, I think gaming is also good, because how will a game survive is always only when there is a repeat value in it. Repeat value again maps to different verticals like e-commerce, learn and earn, and of course gaming as well. So this is something like a general purpose tech like blockchain kind of enabled it very easily. So short video platform was just like a first entry to us in terms of starting with what can be the most daring experiment that we start with.
Okay.
So now we are able to kind of cater to the tech savvy. You can call them tech savvy because it's not just tier 2, tier 3, right? They're also becoming increasingly choosy in their habits, and they want personalization. It's not just the people in the metro that want personalization. Everyone wants that. So, and I think how it will kind of evolve is like, what do I really want? The time that I can kind of save up in these platforms and reach my whatever value add that I get from the platform.
Right,
I think that's
right.
how it's kind of going forward.
See, what happens in the current model of e-commerce is that it leads to market concentration, and that market concentration gives significant power to larger brands that get smaller, get egged out. What happens in the ONDC, the open network, is it gives equal opportunity for everybody to compete on what they're good at, not whether they have a captive user base. Captive, and their user base is going to be provided by the common pool of 1 billion digital consumers that will be brought by the bankers, the fintechs, and so on and so forth. So that is how, when I say democratize, every small and large will have the equal opportunity without worrying about the scale, because scale is give or taken for granted by them.
I think the biggest change which got us in the last decade is, I think, COVID, which pushed people to start looking for merchandise and products online, and which inherently pushed the brands to be available on the online world. And I think that's one big trend I've seen. I don't think it will go back. Still 6% of our complete retail industry sort of is being online. We foresee that this to go to 20-25% in the next 10-15 years, which means a huge amount of population will start buying online, and brands have to be prepared for that. Having said that, it's not that it will be an online win-all, or anybody who's just on online will sort of sustain. I think there is a lot of data now that at a certain point D2C doesn't make sense. You have to go offline. So I am an omni-channel believer. We started offline because at that time online was just a fad. In 2010, people said online kya hai. Tab tak Flipkart was still on the bikes. Sachin was still delivering books on his scooters. Obviously, it evolved really fast, but for us, I see that omni-channel will become more prominent as a trend in the next 5-10 years. That every brand will start thinking omni-channel and not just online or not just offline, and they will know that they will peril or move out of business if they just focus on a certain channel per se. So they have to find their audience in the mix of offline world and the online world together.
I think last 2 years, because of COVID, the most obvious has happened, right? I think there's a lot of speeding up of the digital adoption that has happened. But I think over a period of time, what we've seen is that digital has gone up, and then over a period of time, then offline has gone up again. I think it's the it's the harmony between the two of how the brand manages both is where the real sweet spot lies.
Thank you, Deep. Wonderful question. I would like to say what has been seen as a clear change after the pandemic is that the customers now want to go out. They want to meet. They want to socialize. Earlier, if we see before pandemic, people would go to malls or the high streets, let's say for shopping or for eating out or for entertainment in cinemas, etc. I personally feel, and I've seen this trend emerging very fast, is that now the customers go out for socializing to seek that happiness. Actually, shopping, eating out, cinema, they all are becoming incidental. The main reason why people want to go out is to socialize. I say that socializing is the new fashion. People want to meet each other, they want to talk to each other, they are seeking that happiness. That is a new trend that is coming, and because of that, what we see is when before pandemic and during pandemic, online sales were going up very high. After the pandemic, when the people have started going out, it's not only online sales. Online sales, of course, is growing. But at the same time, offline sales are bursting all charts. They are growing many folds. We see serious growth versus pre-pandemic level in the top line. I'm not talking about the bottom line here because there are a lot of other issues that have cropped up in terms of inflation, logistics, supply chain issues, etc. But as far as top line is concerned, and customers coming back to the stores physically as well as online is phenomenal. And this is the trend which I personally believe will help a lot in India's growth story.
So, what has changed for the better in our spaces that there is, customers' budgets, like when we are primarily into ceremonial wear. So the customers' budgets when it comes to marriages hasn't shrunk. The budgets are the same, but they're not spending so much anymore on the catering. The number of people that are attending the weddings is lower. So they're spending more on our apparel, which is good for us. So we're seeing, the average price of our Sherwani, for example, has gone up by 25%. So there's a trend towards more luxury products, which has been a big positive for us. Also, another thing that we've seen is that customers have become much more conscious in terms of the environment. So we're seeing there's a more demand for sustainable fabrics, for sustainable fashion. So we see, especially the Gen Z customer is demanding more of that.
So I think, as you've probably noticed, there's been a lot of digital-first brands that have grown really very, very quickly. And we're one exactly like any of them. We've grown primarily online, where on all of the e-commerce, quick commerce channels, D2C is a big part of our business. We're in about 1,200 odd stores across the major cities, and that footprint is going to grow. We are where the consumer is, right? Because that's where the magic is. Just very excited for 2023.
There are new brands, new startups in the space, in the retail space, opening more stores, which means more opportunities for brands, especially the D2C younger brands, to get the shelf throw, which was earlier a little difficult with, they were very select modern trade or the organized players back then. Now they have a lot more brands coming in, which is a good news for the industry overall. And online anyways is doing well. So I think retail the definition is going beyond only offline. So it's a very interesting space. Online plus offline. Online, more brands. Offline, more platforms are coming, which is very interesting.
Well, the bounce back has been very interesting.
Right.
We've kind of seen a lot of consumerism come through. I think that was also led to inflation, but that's a problem for the government to handle.
Right.
We've seen a lot of tier 2, actually tier 3 and tier 4 cities really come through the ranks. In the sense, the consumption patterns have turned phenomenal over there. Rentals are low, labor cost is low, the ramp ups are really quick. And I think a cluster approach in these are working very well.
Well, the biggest trend has been delivery becoming a very strong revenue earner for the industry. Before COVID, delivery was there, but it really grew after COVID. But then after when the business came back for dine-in, delivery still did not move. So it's become a very big revenue earner. The trend has been there. Delivery is here to stay. The future is going to be for delivery of, is growing like anything. The cloud kitchens are growing. So that's one thing. And a few more trends which are, are coming up, but a few trends which are coming up which are not like immediate, but the future is where, cultured meat is coming up, is being developed now. The cost used to be $1 million for 100 grams, has come down to maybe about $200, $300, dollars, which is really going to be the future of the meat industry as well.